Right, this video, I lost it, and I found most of the footage and most of the original editing. So let me go back a bit. I made a Brut IPA last year, early last year I think it was, possibly March, could have even been as late as summer, but I think it was earlier. And the initial brewing footage I put together, I was going to do a grain to glass. So the initial brewing footage I put together, edited it, and had it ready. Once the beer was made, I then did the final verdict, and then went to edit it and put it on my computer, and the computer completely crashed. It's since died. I haven't yet worked out to repair it yet. I haven't been asked. I've got 4 memory cards in it. Then at least one of them's dead. I don't know if it's all 4. But anyway, and I finally got, and it corrupted the Windows. The Windows wouldn't load again once I tried putting it in another computer to see if I could load that. So I then had to take the hard drive, mess about, and I finally got onto it and got the footage back. Most of it. Not the original, not the final piece, but the original footage. And I left it there, and I mean, do I bother editing it? Do I whatever? And when I went to try and load it onto Vegas, because I then was using a different computer which had a newer version of Vegas on it, and it couldn't see it. And I don't know what's happened. It's may have had an upgrade or whatever in the last 6 months. But suddenly the other day I noticed it was recognising the footage. So I tried with the original save file to see if that would load. I mean, I couldn't identify where the stuff was, so I had to find it for it, and then it went, yeah, I've got it all pretty much, and put it back together. So this video is the original footage I made, of edited footage up until the final tasting, which, to be honest, wasn't good. The beer didn't come out right. The amylase in the fermenter, possibly the wrong thing to do. At the time, I wasn't sure. A lot of people weren't sure when I made the video. Brut IPAs they were just to say coming out. Hadn't swept the board as they did over the summer. So I wasn't sure where to put it. So I put it in the fermenter with the yeast. It actually should have gone in the mash, I believe, now. So it didn't come out right. It came out as an ale, really. It was made with lager malt and a quake from USO5, as you'll see. But the beer, I mean, it was an alright beer. It wasn't the best. But it came out okay, but not a Brut IPA. So if you want to watch it, this is the lost footage that I've since recovered and put it back together. So cheers. Morning, Brew Tubers. 7 AM, mash is on, and we're doing something new and different today. We're doing what's known as a Champagne IPA, originating from the Bay Area in America, San Francisco, and I believe it was Social Brewery were the first to try this, and then it's spreading out around there and becoming quite popular. What is Champagne IPA? It's a beer that's very dry, very clean, very crisp, low bitterness, but with good flavour and aroma. How do you make them? So how do we do this? We need a low malt bill, a low sort of simple malt bill, should I say. So I've gone with 4 kilos of Pilsner malt and a kilo of Golden Promise, just to add a bit of colour there, really, and a little bit of flavour, I suppose. Hops. I've changed the hop bill that I originally had. I did have 60 minute, 20 minute, 10 minute editions, but now I've scrapped all that and changed it, and now going with a 10 minute edition of 10 grams of Citra, then 30 grams, no, 40 grams of Citra at Whirlpool, also with 40 grams of Nelson Sauvin at Whirlpool, and then 70 grams dry hop of Nelson Sauvin. That's it. So that should keep the bitterness low, very low. In fact, what else do we need to do? We need to add an enzyme. We need to add amylase. Amylase helps break down the sugars, the complex sugars, into more simple sugars to create a drier beer for the yeast. Create simple sugars for the yeast, which will create a drier beer. Obviously, everyone knows when you mash, you wake up the enzymes in the barley that's been malted, it's been stuck, which then breaks down the sugars that are in the barley itself into simpler sugars, but it leaves. Right, we're mashing for 60 minutes at 63 degrees to help get a thinner wort. I don't want much body in the beer, so we're going for 63 degrees, then we'll have a step up to 75 as a mash out for 10 minutes. Wart's starting to clear nicely now, get some good clarity there. We've got 8 minutes left on the timer for the mash, then 10-minute mash out. Can't wait. Right, the mash out is done, so I just thought I'd check to see how the pH was. The finished beer. 5.29. Yeah, it's been that pretty much steady. 5.3. It's been that pretty much steady all the way through. Not bad. Mash is just finished. We're going to sparge now, but look at that lovely clear wort and a lovely colour. Normally I would leave all this extra protein in, but I want a clean, dry beer, so for today I'm scooping it off. We've reached 100%, we're at boil. We're taking off all these extra proteins. First boil addition going in now at 10 minutes, 10 grams of Citra. Right, so the boil is done. Just running some hot water through the chiller to sterilise it. Then we'll start chilling the beer down to 77 degrees and then put in the hops for the hop stand. Alright, so I'm chilling the water down now to get it to 77, giving it a bit of a stir. Putting it through the chiller, the counterflow chiller, chilling it and stirring it, trying to get it down to 77. Alright, we've just hit the magic number of 77 that I wanted. Time to chuck in the hops. It's 40 grams of Citra in leaf form, 40 grams of Nelson Sauvin in pellet form. Get them in. I'll give it a stir and then I'll get the recirculation pipe running, pumping through just to keep recirculating the water. Hopefully get as much of the oils mixed in as possible. Alright, nice clean fermenter, all sterilised, sanitised. Time to get the beer in. Alright, so we've got our wort ready. Time to add, going with the USO5, a nice clean yeast with good attenuation, so it should come out clear and crisp. And here is the magic, amylase. We're going initially with 1 teaspoon of this, and this should do it. This should be enough, hopefully. And that, better get it to bed at 19 degrees and wait.